This morning, not a whole lot on the log. I'm just kind of wade through what we have on there. The aggravated assaults, that was a domestic, that was a strangulation case. The burglary, we had, one of them was an apartment that was entered, one of them was a storage unit that was entered. Disorderly subjects, both, actually all of them are involved juveniles. Family offenses were a couple of reports. Frauds were a couple of ID thefts. Larcenies, the only big thing we had there, and I don't have a whole lot of details at this point in time, but there was a theft that happened at a jewelry store downtown yesterday. It was, I don't have the exact time frame, it was reported probably about 6:30 p.m., so sometime in the afternoon. We had a couple of guys that entered the store. One of them was talking with a clerk, the other just was checking for open jewelry counters, I guess, and so he found one that was open, ended up grabbing a bunch of rings and then left. Looks like the value of that is, they're estimating around $8,000. So they do have surveillance video. We're working on getting that. Hopefully we'll be able to come up with something, but we haven't had any other similar things like this recently. I know there's been some stuff like this, but it's been a number of years, so it's nothing new that's spreading around, but it's probably a good idea just for people, especially in the jewelry business, to make sure that your cabinets are locked. This type of thing is so fast and happens so quickly that it's hard to keep eyes on everybody all the time, even if it's, one or two people, because it doesn't take much to distract somebody.
It calls for good cameras, obviously, like that.
Yeah, in a case like this, surveillance cameras are really key pieces of evidence. It's not necessarily going to prevent crime, but in the event that there is some type of crime that happens, it's something that we really rely upon, and we have a good track record of being able to identify people from those surveillance cameras. And the way things are now, the surveillance cameras are fairly cheap and inexpensive, and they're good quality. Obviously, there's a little different range in the quality, but the better quality system you have, the better chance there is to identify suspects, and gives us a chance to find those people and hold them accountable.
And the fact that people are wearing masks, like even the suspects were wearing masks because you have to be, it makes it easier for them. So I'm guessing good cameras are really going to help identify.
Yeah, the masks, obviously, people wearing masks, it can hinder trying to identify somebody, but when you have those good quality cameras capturing those good images, there's other details that you're able to pick out, and even wearing a mask, we're still having a good track record of identifying suspects. So hopefully we'll be able to come up with the people responsible.
One more thing on that, obviously, if those guys were there in the store with the clerks, what happens if you realize it's happening? I mean, just let them walk out the building? I mean, it's pretty tough to...
It is, it's, if you see something like that, it's hard just to stand by and let it happen. And I mean, we've seen this in any number of different cases, and, we would always tell people it's best just to be a good witness. Don't put yourself in harm's way. In a case like this, we're talking about property. Property can be replaced. Most of these businesses have some insurance that would cover the cost of that. If people want to intervene, they just have to realize that you don't know what these people are capable of. And so that's why we always recommend don't put yourself in that harm's way, because these people may be armed. They may have weapons that you don't see. And if they're confronted, they may use those weapons. And the big thing is you just don't know. And, if we've seen it in the past where people have confronted people, suspects, and basically detained them and held them until police arrived, and it's worked out. I don't think we've had a whole lot of people that have been injured over the years, but like I said, you just never know. And we don't really want to take the chance of somebody getting hurt or injured in the case of some property being stolen. And we would rather have people be a good witness, look for those extra details, look for mannerisms, any type of speech, or any details on clothing or even shoes. I mean, those little details really can add up, and sometimes they're not captured by surveillance.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy, do you have a block address for that?
Yes, that was in the 300 block of South Phillips Avenue. Yeah, that's when the report came in. I'm guessing sometime late afternoon. I don't have the exact time of when it happened, but. Okay, outside of that from the larcenies, really nothing big. Had some shopliftings, a couple of unlocked cars, but nothing else high dollar taken. The narcotics were marijuana. One of them involves juveniles. The robbery, the first one involves juveniles. The second one really is just a report. We had a guy that said he was robbed, but didn't really provide any details. The details he did provide were pretty vague, and he gave quite a few versions, so we're still working on even trying to figure out what happened with that one, but he did not have any injuries. The sex offense, that was a sex offender that didn't change his address. Nothing big from the simple assaults, nothing suspicious from the unattended death. The vandalisms had some cars and houses that were damaged, but nothing concentrated in one area. And the weapons violation, that involves juveniles.
Do you have anything on the guy who stole the truck that had the money that was inside? He was arrested, I believe, yesterday evening, or maybe this morning, I can't remember which one, but do you have anything on that?
I hadn't heard that he was arrested. Let me double check on that.
It says it happened last night.
Okay.
Late afternoon.
I gotta find the report on that one. This was the recovered one, right, at 41st Minnesota?
Yes.
That's the one?
Yep.
I don't believe the suspect in that case has been arrested yet. Is it a different stolen vehicle case?
Let me double check on one thing. No, it looks like we got something on a suspect being arrested in connection with the fundraiser money that had been inside the truck that was found, but if you don't have anything.
No, he has not been arrested. We've got a suspect. I just looked, and he hasn't been arrested or charged with anything. He hasn't been in jail, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?